add to BR perhaps. Let's save this. Now let's get back to our browser. Let's refresh the page. I guess there's a mistake. So let's fix this one. Okay, there is no mistake actually. So what's happening in here? I guess you can see this clearly. So we have got two loops running together, and both of those loops have got similar conditioning parts or similar conditions. In the while loop on line 13, it has got an index variable that contains a numeric value of 0 initially, and it has a condition that is set with a right-hand operand that's also 0. And this is also the similar case when we go to line 22, and we have got a similar condition. We have got another variable indeed, and this time the variable contains a similar type of value of 0, and the right-hand operand for this conditioning part, this is also 0. So now what you see in here is that I have added, for clarity's purpose, I have added two BR tags. Now let me show you another form of output so that I can explain both of them together. So let's use the count function, and we're going to count the number of pages. Let's also do that in here. So this is essentially to show you the application of the BR tag used with PHP. So we are basically combining HTML with PHP. That's what I'm showing in here. So this is a PHP code entirely, but inside that string, whenever PHP's compiler encounters some sort of angle brackets like this, and it encounters angle brackets with valid HTML tags. So whenever it meets any sort of HTML elements or tags, it's going to render that out as HTML. So this is a pretty big advantage in using PHP, which means you can actually include HTML tags or HTML elements inside your PHP code. So let's save this. Let's get back to the browser. Now our difference is quite clear. So this while loop, this first while loop is printing out this entire value. Then this echo statement is adding two new lines. So we have got two new lines in here. In this part, the new lines are actually the white spaces. So then again, the second loop, or this do while loop, is being printed out onto the second part after the echo statement. So likewise, if we change the condition like the previous instance, and let's save this, let's refresh the browser. So we see only one element being printed out. And where is this one element coming from? So this is basically coming from your do while loop. This is not coming from your while loop. Why? Because remember that I told you that the while loop or the compiler will always check the condition first before entering the clause when it's working with the while loop. So when it's because on line 13 it has encountered a while loop, and it looks into the condition, and then when it sees that the condition is false, it basically ignores this entire while loop. So you see you do not have a single value from this while loop on your home page. But when we come to this do while loop, it first executes this block of statements, or it first, at least for once, it executes this entire block. And when it has executed those statements at least for once, then it moves on to the conditioning part. And when it sees that the condition is false, then it terminates the loop. But the loop has actually executed for once. But the while loop did not execute at least for once. That's why we see only one element being printed out from the pages array, and that is being done by the do while loop because it is executing this echo statement before even checking out this condition. So that's the basic difference between the for loop, the while loop, and the do while loop. Although we hardly use this do while loop in our applications, in our daily life applications that we usually develop. Basically, you will hear programmers using for loops most of the times, and they also prefer while loops sometimes because it's also quite handy and it has uses. But the do while loop is quite obsolete. I mean, I shouldn't say it's very obsolete, but it is actually quite obsolete because it's not very helpful to use your loop before even checking the condition at the first stage. That's why there are times when you do not want to use this do while loop due to security reasons. Now, on the next video, we'll be looking onto the creation of functions. We'll be looking onto how procedural programming in PHP can be used to define functions and how we can use functions in our applications. So please share this video and place your comments if you have any, and if you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to comment out on the comments section. And remember to subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video.